How are you guys feeling going into conference play after what's been a really good start to the season in non-conference play? I think it was Max that had mentioned to me that there's kind of a goal of going 8-2 in non-conference play, and you guys are ahead of that right now.
Yeah, it feels great. Obviously, the room feels really good right now. We haven't had too many downs so far this year. I'm sure they'll come at some point, but right now we're staying on this high and just trying to enjoy it while we're here, but also understand what works and what's been working. And I think that's what we've done a good job of. We've continued to get better each weekend, almost each game, and that's really important. Even when we beat a team like we played against Bemidji, maybe not our greatest start Friday. Saturday we played a much more complete game. And then Friday night in Minnesota we thought was our best overall game, I think, of the year so far.
You mentioned the high the team is on. You just beat the Gophers. That high, the confidence that can come with a high like that, how valuable of a tool is that as you guys go into NCHC play here, to have that confidence and that good feeling?
Yeah, I think for us it just gives us something to look back on, and if we do get away from that or aren't playing our best, we can remember those games, remember those moments, remember what worked in those moments. And I think we still sort of see ourselves as underdogs and treat ourselves as underdogs, which I think is a fun mentality to have going into a place like North Dakota.
What about these first 8 games? What skills, the way you guys are playing, what makes you feel good? What do you think is going to translate really well into NCHC play starting with North Dakota this week?
I think our forwards have made the lives of other teams' defensemen kind of miserable below the goal line. They never give up there, whether it's the first line to the fourth line, and it's fun to see just the fits that kind of our forwards are giving their defensemen. I think a perfect example is the line with 23, 24, 25, Cal and Scout and Kyle. They just grind teams down, and so I think that's what you see in NCHC a lot, and so that's really promising too. I don't think we're playing a different style than what's going to work in our conference and what we've seen work in our conference.
Kind of along those lines, when you see Scout Truman line up for a face-off and the guy on the other side starts throwing cross checks at him and whacking at his stick and all that, what's your reaction? Whether you're on the ice or not, what's your reaction to seeing that?
Yeah, I was on the ice, and I know Scout. We know Scout now. We've been around him long enough, and that's kind of the guy he is. He's going to get under a guy's skin. He's a guy you want on your team, but he's also not fun to play against, and I think that's super important. He'll find ways to piss people off at different times, but between the whistles, he's still going to play his game, and that's super important as well. So I think we know that he's doing that, and he's not doing it as a show or anything. That's who he is, and that's how he's going to be, and he's not hurting us in any way. And if he's getting under their skin, we love that.
I don't think anybody at this point is surprised to see you or Bods, especially, selling out the block a shot. I think Bods got one at the end of the Friday game. But when you see one of the new guys like Hunter Anderson doing that, what's that mean?
Yeah, it's huge. It just shows what we have in our room right now. I think everyone's committed. That was big, obviously, Friday night. We've had some opportunities for Adam to get a shutout, and we were able to hold on to that one on Friday, which felt good because some of the other ones where they scored late didn't feel great to give that up for him, and we gave up a chance late, and they were able to capitalize. So that was big just for him to get that, but also to see guys like Hunter doing that, willing to do that, getting rewarded. That line obviously had a great night that night. He had a great night personally, so that was fun to see that he could finish that game off like that.
What does the North Dakota rivalry mean to you?
It's everything. That's I think in our conference, it's one of the teams we're always going to play 4 times. It's always fun to play there. It's always fun when they come here. It's just anyone can win at a game. You just got to show up, and I think we said it going into the Minnesota games too. It's just going to be about who wants it more. I think they're a good team. I think we're a really good team, and so I think it's going to come down to compete and who can put together a more complete 60 minutes. I think one of the things we saw, just even on Max's empty net goal Saturday night, he just wanted the puck more than their guys, and he just outcompetes them. And that's, whether it's an empty net goal or whether it's a battle in our defensive zone, that's how we're going to win games, is winning those battles and going into a battle knowing you're going to win it.
Talking to a couple of guys, it's pretty clear you all noticed how loud it got in that building, especially on Saturday, the Let's Go Bulldogs chants. What's it mean to hear that, especially in that building?
Yeah, it's super special. Obviously, those games, they mean a lot to us. They mean a lot to our fans. And so for us to be able to play like that in front of them, and then for them to give us that to finish those games off, was super special. It's definitely one of the cooler things I've been a part of as my time here.
I can't believe Matt lets us go. I just keep giving up on it. What are your thoughts on the red pepper?
I think I went once freshman year, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't world-breaking or anything, in my opinion, but I don't think it's on my list of things I need to do this weekend. If there's a group going, I would potentially go with, but I might look at other options as well.
Good choices.
Why hasn't it been a challenge for this team to win on the road this year, and how do you continue that this weekend?
I think we go into buildings and we treat it the same as we do here. We have a good attitude. We got enough guys that have played college hockey that know that most of these buildings are going into. We know how teams are going to play for the most part. That's thanks to just history, but also our coaching staff. And we've had really good starts, I'd say, in probably 5 of our 8 games so far. And that's always important in college hockey, I think, because a lot of times you'll see the first 5 minutes can dictate a game. But even when we haven't had our best start, we've been able to turn things around, which is also promising, I think, too.
You guys are killing the penalties at almost a 90% clip right now. What's working so well in special teams?
Yeah, we changed it up a little bit this year. We've been super aggressive, especially with our forwards up top, and the attitude's been be aggressive and make them make a play, like force them to have to make a really nice 2 or 3 passes in a row before they're going to get a grade A. As defensemen, we are asked to block shots, and I think it's just about willing to do that. But our forwards are doing a great job of pressuring their guys and giving them very little time, which forces them to have to make plays as quick as they can. And we've done a good job of that so far. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Joey.
thank you guys.
Scott, I asked Joey about this. There's a lot of things that have gone right. Your team's done well here to start this season. I'm wondering if there's 1 or 2 things that really stand out that you're happy to see, and you think that's going to translate really positively over to the start of the CHC.
Yeah, we won some games early. You know, last year we didn't. So you start behind the 8 ball a little bit, but this group's been hungry since the day we started, probably since the way the year ended. The guys coming back. I think that's been that attitude and that mentality is good. And I think obviously you're adding a lot of new guys that, come into that, and so far it's been good. Our competitiveness has been good. We're getting really good play out of some guys that we need to have good play, obviously starting with Adam and net. Our back end, our top line, some other getting a little more depth scoring. But yeah, I think it's just the group. I said it before, it's a different feel, and these guys are hungry, they're very driven, and again, doesn't guarantee anything, but it's a great start. And then to add, winning some games early, and we've been on the road a lot, which is good, and we've won on the road, so you got to take care of that. But it builds confidence, there's no question, but we still have a long way to go, and got through the first month, and a lot of really good things to build on, and certainly some areas that we need to keep getting better at. And as we move into our league play, we're gonna see a lot of really, really good hockey teams starting with this weekend. So we're gonna keep learning about our team.
What stands out to you about this North Dakota squad?
Well, I think they're playing a little bit different. They're pressuring pucks a lot more. Certainly, there's a lot of hype with some of the players they got, and rightly so. They're good players, but they're still freshmen. I look at their returning guys, Swanson, James, guys that have played college hockey. I mean, I know I'm forgetting a few, but those are the guys to me that are, they're good players. They can do some damage. Livanovich, I mean, it seems like he's all over the place. Wiebe, they've got some really good returning defensemen. Their goaltending's a little bit new, so they played a couple different guys, obviously. So, but hard working, pressure pucks. D are very active. They're going to make it difficult. They're a hard forechecking team, hard to the net. So a lot of their traits in the past haven't changed. So it's going to be certainly a more contested space on the rink type battle, which it always is in our league.
As you guys, experienced last year, exciting, talented freshman classes get a lot of hype in the preseason, but is it more difficult or less difficult now in college hockey for freshmen to come in and make an impact right away, or did they, as we're kind of maybe seeing with your guys, need a year to get acclimated to the game before really making big impacts?
Well, it depends. I mean, certainly some freshmen are put in different situations. Some freshmen are counted on to be great right away and lead their team. We knew last year, like with our freshman group, that we had some really good players in there that we felt could have an impact on our team, and they did, for the most part. This year, we've got another really good freshman class that is just kind of growing as we go. Like I said, they need seasoning, they need games, and every weekend's a learning curve for them. But they're learning quickly and they're contributing, and they haven't had to be thrust into that, we have to carry a team, right? And that's kind of fallen on our sophomore line. And then we've added some guys with college experience that I think was very critical. You can tell they've played college hockey. Scout, Gaff, Covey, those guys, even Brady, guys that have played college hockey. Those guys, that's a really important factor because they're a lot different than freshmen. And you can see it in the way they play.
Your reaction on Saturday, especially to how loud it got in that building, I'm thinking especially after Max's third goal and then the empty net goal at last minute of the game.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whose fans are whose because we're all got the same colors. But it was awesome. It was obviously a big goal, and it was a different game Saturday, but our guys just stuck with it. And again, Adam was good when he needed to be, but that's how games are going to be, right? Like I felt Friday was, after the first 5-10 minutes, that was pretty real solid game for us. and how we need to play, and it's hard to replicate that, it's hard. Some things we need to, if you want to do that, you got to be repeatable in things that you do, and that's what we talk about. And we maybe didn't have maybe quite the same, but that's the difference between Friday and Saturday sometimes, both ways. But yeah, it was awesome at the end, hearing our fans and seeing them in there and not hearing theirs. It was great.
That's lined with we talked about before the game with Gap and Cal. So Truman led in shot attempts on Friday. Cal led the whole team in shot attempts on Saturday. Those three guys that I think they combined for all but 2 shot attempts all weekend. Were at 5-on-5. They had to puck a ton in there on the ice. Scout especially getting under the skin of the adversary. The value of that line, even though right now they're not scoring, seems pretty darn high. I think if they start scoring, it's only going to go up.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I mean, they haven't scored as much as they probably would like, but what they've done and the shifts that they've given us when we've needed to shift momentum or get momentum going our way or change the tide of a game, those things you can't measure. Like they've had good grind it down shifts, keep it in there. Hopefully the next line goes out and does the same thing, and you get a little bit of that back. But yeah, they've been really good. I thought Scout was really good Friday. I thought he had a really good game. But that line has been, quietly really, really good for us. Really good for us. And got to keep telling them, you keep playing like that, you're going to continue to get opportunities. Pucks will go in. But again, if they can keep giving us what they're giving us, that I'm fine with that,
In league play where everyone seems like they've got that depth and they can grind teams down, how important is it to have a group that seems really committed to playing that round game?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have shifts like that, right? And you have to be willing to play in hard areas, and you have to be willing to do some of those things that aren't really sexy in offensive hockey. We all want to make the great plays and score the big goals and fancy goals, but again, that's not how it works. You gotta grind it down there sometimes. You gotta get ugly goals, get ugly shots, second chances, whatever it is. Sometimes you don't get any shots, and you just kind of maintain possession and, like I said, shift the tide a little bit. And those guys have been willing to do that. And again, hopefully we get more lines, because it's going to get that way. You're going to have shifts, and every game's different. Every game's going to be different. Every period's going to be different. And sometimes you got to be willing to play that way, and in order to have success. And again, we're going to see a very, very strong defensive team this weekend, a team that's not going to give us a lot of room, and we're going to have to learn how to grind out some of those shifts.
Freshman line, we talked about Hunter blocking the shot late in Friday's game, and Elvin Berger the shot for Adam, but he blocks the shot Friday, scores a big goal Saturday. How big a step forward was that freshman line? Did you see the take last year?
They keep growing. Like, again, there's going to be ups and downs, just like anybody, but again, it's something I said, they just need seasoning. Every weekend's a learning curve for them. Every weekend, I feel like they're getting better. And again, the last few games have showed that. They've contributed offensively. They've played well as a line. They're getting better defensively. And that's all we're asking for. And again, now we're going to go into probably one of the toughest buildings to win games in, against a team that, again, in our league, it's going to be a different animal. So we'll see how everybody fares, right? But we should feel good about where we're at. We should feel confident that we can go in and beat anybody. But you still got to do a lot of things to win. And if they can contribute and keep getting better, that's what we're looking for. It's just like your team. You want your team to keep getting better every game, every weekend, every week. And I think, I said before we played Minnesota, the mountain gets steeper, and, we're going to keep playing better teams, and especially within our league, and you're going to keep finding out about your team. And that's why the start was really important. Like, to win some games, to get that winning feeling, to and kind of go through some different things. Like we've led a lot, but the Bemidji game I'll use as an example. It's 0-0 almost midway through the second period, and we just stayed with the game, and that's hopefully what guys can keep learning. You just stay with the game. Friday Bemidji we're down 2-0, right? 5 minutes in. I don't know, maybe we lose that game a year or two ago. I don't know. But we just stay with the game, and we got some guys that can change a game, and and then we've got Adam playing really well in net.
I know you've made plenty of visits to Grand Forks over the years, but it's got to be a pretty special feeling knowing that both teams are in great spots for this early big-time matchup.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a test for both teams starting the league, but that's our league, right? Every weekend is that way. And if you look at all the teams, everybody's better. Look at the start Miami's had. They haven't lost yet. There's so many teams in our league that have gotten better, and then you added Arizona State, over the years, so it gets harder and harder. We're going to add St. Thomas. They're a good team. So every weekend is a battle. Every weekend is like playoffs. We've said it since the league started. And I think this year might be the hardest yet with the teams that we have and the improvements everybody's made and the new players. And over time, it's fun to coach in. I think the players enjoy playing in it. Certainly, it's challenging every week. And so we've got to prepare mentally for, as we shift into our league, how hard these games are and how hard it is to win in this league. It's hard to win in college hockey, but it's hard to win in this league. So we just got to focus on Friday and again, have a couple good days here, like preparing and get our guys as ready as we can, and then you go play, and hopefully we can have a good result on Friday.
You got an update on Harper Ben?
He started to skate a little bit, so that's good. Kind of before our guys, so hopefully I think he can get on the ice. I don't know the exact timeline, but I think Krause's itching to bag skate him. So but yeah, he was on the ice yesterday a little bit, so we'll kind of get him out there gradually.
Still getting the outfit for it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I haven't talked to Sue's exact timeline. Probably, I'm sure a couple more weeks at least. I don't know how long has it been? What did I tell you? A month? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Krause was.
She said, I think initially it was 4 to 6 weeks. So depends. I gave you a month, but he's starting to skate a little bit. Not with us, but kind of pre.
What's working so well? We could ask Joey about it. You guys are up here 90% shorthanded. What's working so well?
Krause's doing a great job. He does. He does a great job. Our guys. We've changed some things. We were being a little more aggressive. We're getting, obviously, Adam's playing great in net, and that's where it starts. But, again, I've said it, what we're trying to do, you have to be connected. And sometimes when you do some things and a little more aggressively, you're going to get burned, and we have. But I like the fact that we just keep sticking with it. We practice it every week. Everybody practices it. So that's a good thing. We've got some guys that, we've talked about Zam and Max, their hockey IQ and the way they play and their sticks and anticipation. And, they've done a good job. Covey, Danny, the guys that we've used probably 6 or 8 guys, so that's good. But, no, we tried to do some things differently, and so far it's worked out.
Off topic, the Lightning announcers seem to love the way Alec James is playing for Tampa. One of those loud sticks. Have you had a chance to watch any of those games?
I did. Yeah, I did. I've watched a couple, so still can skate. Love to have him here right now. I'm not gonna lie. He'd be nice in our lineup, but no, really happy for him. I've been talking to him quite a bit actually, so it's Tom. He's just got that personality. He's just enjoying it, but so just enjoy every day. But no, he had a great camp and had a great start in Syracuse, and awesome to see him get called up and playing.
And get PK time too.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's played a little bit of center, a little bit of wing, so he's grinding on those face-offs. I love it. But he got a lot better here. He worked on it a lot, but no, it's good. And anytime you can see our former players playing, and kind of ironic that his first game was against Chicago, but no, he's enjoying it. He's loving it. I think just talking to him, he's really soaking in a lot of it and watching and doing what you should do, and just really happy for him. Mm-hmm.